Hello to my many friends, also to my many enemies. Once again, this is Roosevelt with another episode of Roosevelt Sounds Off. This is Roosevelt Sounds Off Part 35. And yes, we're still continuing on in our series, Stupid Traditions. This is Stupid Traditions Part 7. And what made me make this short video tonight is basically it kind of stems a little bit from a conversation I had with a good friend of mine the other night, where I was telling her that I guess we were talking about children and about kids and stuff having respect, and I told her one time about how because I think I could talk about children, before I get too far, because even though for many of y'all who know me personally, I am 42 years old, never been married, and don't have any children. But yet I think I babysat a whole lot of children. And yes, I am the proud godfather of an 10-year-old goddaughter and a 14-year-old godson who will be graduating from 8th grade in June. And, very happy about that. And we were talking one time about my godson having difficulty. And when I came into the home to see what was going on, I guess he was having a dispute with his mother's boyfriend at the time, and he told his mother's boyfriend, even though he was a child and this mother's boyfriend was grown, he told him to shut up, because I guess me and him were trying to talk and the boyfriend kept on interrupting, and so he told him to shut up, man, ain't nobody even talking to you, shut the hell up, ain't nobody talking to you. And I just sat back and I just didn't say anything. My friend basically told me that she told me that by me not saying anything, I made it seem to him like it was okay to disrespect an adult. Now, this is what we want to talk about for a few minutes tonight, is the issue of respect. Respect, how do we get it? What is it? Who deserves it? Who should have it? Who shouldn't have it? Those kind of issues when it comes down in between parents and children. And what I have come up with is that I feel the only reason why people say, and I'm pretty sure everybody's heard the statement, that if you're young, or especially a child, every child is supposed to stay in a child's place, and no matter what, you're supposed to respect your elders. Sometimes by looking back on it, I think this is another stupid tradition of respecting your elders. And I know this is going to be a very controversial statement, so let me qualify that. I feel, and this is Roosevelt Slaughter's opinion on it, so if you agree, fine. If you don't, I guess that's also fine too. But I also believe that respect is a two-way street. Yes, I feel that children should respect their elders, but yet at the same time, I also feel that it is a two-way street. I feel that older people shouldn't go around disrespecting children. And one thing I really want to deal with is the choices of parents. And I'm just going to talk even a little bit about my experience, even though my experiences compared to a whole lot of, children's experiences out there are almost like null and void, almost nothing. But basically my experience is that, when we were younger, me and my brother and my mother and father, we were a part of a certain Baptist church on the west side. And I guess I really, really enjoyed this church and everything, us being there, because that's where I was baptized and everything. But somewhere around 1985, my parents wanted to leave this church and go to a church that was closer to our home on the southeast side of Chicago. And in this church, when we got there, I could not adjust. I didn't get along with anybody. I saw all of these people completely different than the church that I left. And it's almost like even the kids, other kids around my age and everything, picked with me and everything all the time. But yet I'm the one who always got in trouble with my parents, because they would think that I was the cause, or I wasn't getting along with them. So that would cause my parents to come down on me. A matter of fact, I remember a certain scenario once where another kid was picking with me. And my father was standing right there and didn't say anything. So I started to say something and stand up for myself. As soon as I start to say something and stand up for myself, here comes my father saying, "Look, boy, I think you need to be cool now." Uh, Dude, I need to be cool when the kid is messing with me? So what I did, I mean, I was all halfway pissed off and everything by this time. I just said, okay. I was trying to be sarcastic, right? I'll be cool. Look at me, y'all. I'm cool. I had some sunglasses, right? I put those on. I was like, look at me, I'm cool. And somebody asked me, "Oh, Roosevelt, what's the matter with you?" "Oh, man, I'm not Roosevelt, man. I'm cool. I gotta be cool because my daddy over here says that even though somebody was bothering," just the voice I use, "that somebody else was bothering me, I'm supposed to stand back and not say nothing because I need to be cool." Until my father told me, "Look, boy, cut that out right now." Funny story, right? And even though, I mean, so this is like I said, what we deal with. And as time went on, I believe it was like about the 6th grade. Because, whenever you have to put up with this kind of stuff all the time, day after day and week after week when you go to church, because I always believe that it's 2 places in this world that you should be able to go to and have peace. And that is in your home and in the house of God. So, as I begin to get a little bit older and begin to learn a whole lot more about other things, I had a 6th grade teacher, and he knew a whole lot about history, and I began to take much more of an interest in world history. And in world history, there was a couple of chapters on what we call the world religions, which is basically, Islam and Buddhism and Hinduism and Sikhism. And I mean, I began to read up on this stuff and begin to soak all of this stuff in about Buddhism and about yoga and about meditation and transcendental meditation and Hare Krishna and about chanting and all of this stuff I began to soak in. So when they gave a test on it, I mean, hey, I aced the test. I passed the test on the world religions because I knew every single thing. I might have made bad grades and a whole lot of other things, but I passed that test on world religions. And as I got a little bit older, I ran into a woman named Brenda who was Buddhist. So secretly, I guess I began to chant in the Buddhist religion, chant the words Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. And basically, in English, we would say that is the words of cause and effect. And that is in the Nichiren Social Heikeko Buddhist religion. I began to take an interest in. And after a while, in high school, I took an interest in the Islamic faith also. Because, at the time, the hip-hop culture at the time was big. With Public Enemy, Boogie Down Productions, Tribe Called Quest, Poor Righteous Teachers, Brand Nubians, Grand Poobah. And they all, I guess, preached a message in the hip-hop music about, the black man being on top. I mean, they even went as far in a whole lot of the rap music is to say that the black man is God and that hip-hop is the gospel and the rappers are the preachers and, that kind of thing. And a whole lot of it was linked to the Islamic faith, especially Nation of Islam. So as time went on, I had another friend of mine named Bradley. And Bradley introduced me to an Islamic group called the Ansaru, basically known as the Ansaru Allah Islamic Community of America, called the Ansarullah for short. And I began to study with these people who were Ansarullah. And, because they had a community here in Chicago and they had a community in Brooklyn, because Brooklyn was like the national headquarters. And it was headed up by someone named Isayid Al-Liman Al-Hadi Al-Makdi, also, for short, Imam Isa. I began to take a great interest in that. And then it's because I guess I took an interest in a whole lot of this stuff because what I'm trying to say is I was just looking for an escape, okay, from stuff that I was experiencing in this church. I mean, I couldn't wait to get grown so I could get out and get involved in one of these other kind of religions and not ever go back there ever again. So, because I know I had to stay there as long as my parents stayed there. And a few years ago, me and my mother, we were talking about certain things in the church and everything at the time. My mother says how certain things were wrong, and a whole lot of the people who we came up with, she comes to the conclusion now, after a whole lot of the damage to me has been done. Well, a whole lot of those people anyway were just sick and twisted. Dude, but you didn't come up with this conclusion once before? Or, a long time before this? And I would have to say the damage to me is something, it was extensive, because around 94 I was able to leave this church when I got grown, and I joined a full gospel church. After that I joined a sanctified church. And after that another non-denominational church. So now I just attend a church, but haven't joined anywhere, because tell you the truth, sometimes church-wise, I don't hardly, and I'm being truthful, don't know what to do or what to turn to and what to believe, because of a whole lot of this stuff I studied that's just floating around in my head. I don't know which way to go. So I think it did some damage to me, in certain ways. That one experience led me to other experiences, which leads me to the other thing of choices of parents. Whenever parents, I feel, even date somebody who is wrong, or some woman, some stinking horny, hot-tailed woman wants to bring some rusty-legged, hell-deserving man up over her children. This man could be a rapist, could be an abuser, could be almost any kind of darn thing that he wants to be, but the children are left to just pick up the tab because of mama's stupid decision. But yet, if their children did some of the same things, oh no, they wouldn't want it. Because what's the statement that a whole lot of parents make? Do as I say and not as I do. How freaking hypocritical is that? No. Children, they don't pay attention to what you say. They pay attention to whatever it is that you do. If they see that you cuss, they're going to cuss. There's no kind of a way you could cuss all day long, MFs and Ds and GDs and whatever, all day long, but yet don't expect your children to do it, because what? You're supposed to be the example. And you can't use this excuse either about, well, it's okay, I could say that because I'm grown. They're not. Who told you that you can go and do wrong and commit sin all because you're grown? No. Especially if you call yourself a Christian or somewhat godly or spiritual or whatever you choose to call yourself. If you want children's respect, you have to live that life in front of the children. I think that's the reason why a whole lot of children don't respect adults now, and don't, because adults to me just are not real. They live one kind of a way and want to portray another side to the children, so the children don't know where to go or don't know what to do or what to think. No, you have to live that life in front of your child. To this day, I don't believe that my goddaughter or my godson have ever heard me use a cuss word. Now, their parents might do that, but I know I'm responsible for myself. Because if I want them to do one thing, I know I have to put it in practice in front of them and live that life before them. And this is what's not happening. And that's how come children, and I don't think younger people, respect older people. Because they know that the older people aren't doing anything, are doing far much more worse than what they're doing. I think that if we want a better society of children and a better society of kids, that we cannot expect children to come up and be the children that they should be until we start being the adults and parents that we're supposed to be. That's the only kind of a way that we are going to get that respect back, is if it's two ways. One respects the other, and not use this age thing over children. Why? Because it's another stupid tradition. So that's what I had to say for my Roosevelt Sounds Off. That's my truth. And this is has been Roosevelt Sounds Off Part 35. Hope to see everybody on the next one. Peace and blessings to all.